Hello and welcome back to Meeting Point English and part 2 of our discussion on modal auxiliary verbs. In this one we're looking at the modal auxiliaries used to discuss ability, willingness, permission, offers and suggestions. First of all, let's look at the modals used to discuss ability. Can is used to express a general ability to do something. So, for example, he can speak French. She can play the piano. Okay, a general ability to do something. For general past ability, we can use could. So the past tense of can is could. I could swim when I was only 3. We couldn't afford to go to restaurants. So the past tense of can is could and couldn't. When referring to one specific occasion, do not use could. We need to use to be able to. Despite the traffic, we were able to arrive on time. You see how this ability is not a general ability. It's referring to something that happened on one specific occasion. You can also use manage to. Somehow he managed to crawl to safety. You would not say somehow he could crawl to safety, because could would be a general ability. These are referring to ability on specific occasions. To be able to, remember, is much more flexible than can or could, so it is very useful to remember the expression to be able to. For example, I would like to be able to speak Chinese. Now, when you use I would like, it's always followed by a to infinitive. I would like to go to China. I would like to fly to the moon. But I would like to infinitive. And if you were trying to use can or could, there is no to infinitive. So that is why to be able to is so useful, because you can say I would like to be able to. Likewise with enjoy. Enjoy is always followed by the ing form of the verb. I enjoy reading. I enjoy sleeping. So I enjoy being able to lie in bed on Sundays. There is no ing form of can or could. By the end of the course, you will be able to speak French fluently. So in this one, we've got will describing the future, but you cannot put two modal auxiliaries together. So we require be able to. You cannot say you will can, okay? You will be able to. And again with used to. Used to, we always need that to infinitive after used. He used to be able to run a marathon. So you cannot use can in that situation. So you see the phrase to be able to is so much more flexible. You can put it into all different tenses. You can make perfect sentences out of it. I have never been able to, for example. Can or could are also used to show a future opportunity to do something. So this is kind of ability, but it's more having the time for something in a schedule, for example. So I can do it tomorrow means I will have free time to do it tomorrow. Could we discuss it next week? Okay, so this can, could, talking about ability is really to do with timing rather than a physical ability. Let's talk about willingness. Will is sometimes used to express willingness. Okay, there's the verb will. Obviously, will and willingness have a connection. We'll do the washing up. I'll answer the telephone. So you're sort of making an offer here. You're showing that you're willing to do something. Won't and wouldn't are used to express unwillingness. So in the present tense, my car won't start. In the past tense, He just wouldn't change his mind. So this is unwillingness, present and past. Permission and requests. This gets a little complicated. Can or could are used for both permission and requests. Can I get past, please? Could I get past, please? Can you give me a hand? Could you give me a hand? Okay, the first one is permission. It's got I there. Can I? Could I? That's asking permission. Can you? Could you? Is a request. And you can use can or could for both permission and requests. May and might are only used to ask permission. May I borrow your newspaper? May I leave the room, please? Okay, but these are only asking permission. Some people will use might I. To me it sounds very formal and a little old-fashioned, really. May I is much more common for asking permission. And we don't use this structure, may, might you feed my cat while I'm away. Okay, that is a request. It's not asking permission. It's got you there. Okay, so may I or might I. Will and would are only used for requests. Okay, these are not used for permission. So will you wait here, please? Or more formally, would you wait here, please? Will you fill in this form, please? Or would you fill in this form, please? We quite often get would in this structure because it's slightly more formal for a request. You see would you and will you. It's not going to go with I. So this is permission. Will I borrow your telephone? This doesn't work. Okay, so will and would are not used for permission. So may, might, could and would are considered more polite than can and will. Technically, can and will are present tenses of could and would, and we make that same shift, that distance between the present and the past tense. We can also do the same move in as a question of formality as well. Let's look at some offers and suggestions. Shall is very common here. Shall is used for offers and suggestions, usually with questions in the first person. Shall I open the window? Shall we go for a pint after work? A very important sentence, that one, if you're ever working in England. Shall we go for a pint after work? You see this kind of offer and suggestions. You can also use it to request a suggestion, like what shall we do tomorrow, or what time shall we meet? This is the main use of shall in the modern English. Some people still use it for a future, as we would normally use will. Some people still use shall, but it's kind of unusual these days. Normally it's offers and suggestions. So that's all we have to say about ability, willingness, permission, and offers and suggestions. I hope that was all clear, and I'll see you in part 3 of modal verbs in the near future.